Hello everyone, and welcome to round 9 of Tier 3 Aero League Racing F1 2022. My name is Ross Thorne. Sorry for that silence. I was just doing hosting duties tonight on top of comms. I'm back after a little week off. You had Font last week, who is commentating Tier 3 today. So let's go through the standings whilst we wait for everything to load up. We're racing in Abu Dhabi today after quite an exciting race at Monza. So what ended up happening at the end of Monza, Yusuf finished 5th at the end after a penalty, which he incurred from his DMNF in Hungary, and that bumped him down to 5th. But he still extended his lead in the championship because his closest rival, J-Ray, finished in 8th. So the lead at the moment is 29 points, which is over a race win. So if Yusuf keeps this up, really, he will have the title sewn up before Japan, which is our final race of the season. We have 4 races left. We've got Abu Dhabi this week, followed by Singapore, Saudi Arabia, and Japan, which all are, I would say, more wheel-based than... what's going on here? Oh, we're just on a loading screen. Which isn't... It's just a bit strange. I'm not used to seeing that. There we go. Okay, everything's fine. I was a bit worried it was going to jump straight into a race there. So, let's have a quick look and set our telemetry up. We don't really need tyres. No, we don't need any of that. Telemetry, lap data, full map. So yeah, like I was saying, I think the last 4 races do favour people who race on wheel over people who race on pad. This track in particular, I would say it's pretty even between the two until you get past the 2 long straights and you go into the fiddly in-section bit, which is much easier to navigate if you've got a wheel, because you can essentially guide your way into the corners a lot easier when you use a wheel. That's what I'm trying to say. Right, let's see. We do have telemetry set up, so I'm going to try and get that up and running on my screen when it comes up. Yeah, so let's see what the state of play is in the Drivers' Championship aside from that while everyone's on their outlap. So we have J-Ray was in second, like I said, so he's got 98 points. Then 23 points behind him, so he's a comfortable second, is Boomer, who got a second place in the last round. And then we have Samet, Jag Kings, Chris T, who got his first win in the whole of ALR history, or for him anyway, with a really decent victory in Monza last week. And we got Will the Game, Grayson, Hyder, and Saeed rounding off the top 10. Saeed moving into the top 10 after his first podium in ALR. So let's see, who's at the top of this? It looks like Chris T. Let's join Chris T if it is him. Yeah, he's going to be the first one to start his lap. So he's been much better in qualifying than he has been in the races up until Monza. Things have just never gone his way in the races. So let's see what he can do on his first flying lap here. I expect it to be a fairly competitive time from Chris T, as he's revving the hell out of his car. I don't know if that's just a game glitch or if that's a tactic. As he drops down into 4th, misses the apex a little bit and is a bit slow coming out of that corner. Yeah, he's managed to keep full throttle around there, but again misses the apex as we enter this new section. Used to have to brake and go through a chicane, but it's just carrying straight on, and he spins and loses it, which is a bit of a shame, and it's caught on camera. So there was, I think, a Williams in front of him. Was it the Naked Champ? No, I think it was Nova. Yeah, Nova is our next one. He's had a pole position, I think. He had a race victory, although it was taken away from him in the steward's room because he blocked someone in qualifying, which is a painful mistake to make when you are new to the league. Just check if my telemetry is here. It isn't. Okay, I just had to manually go into the dashboard. So, the first competitive lap is a 24.6 from Nova. As one of, I think it's Yusuf's about to cross the line, and he actually goes slower by 0.3, which is a surprise. We're used to seeing Yusuf set a very competitive first lap. Let's see what his teammate's doing. He's currently on a fast lap, coming around the last couple of corners. As Will the Game slots in P3, so Nova's definitely set a fairly decent lap, as Samit has ducked out of this fast lap as Zab goes in P4. Jag Kings, let's see what he's up to. He set the fastest second sector of anyone so far, so he definitely has a good chance of taking that top spot from Nova as Naked Champ crosses. Oh, nearly spins there. Yeah. I'm assuming Jag's going to come straight into the pits there. Oh no, he's going to finish the lap off, despite that quite costly error in terms of time. As J-Ray Bay sets the quickest time with a 24.5, and Jag Kings is only 5th. So let's have a quick look at Jag's time there. Oh, my telemetry's not working too well here. I think there's a glitch with it. Bear with me 1 second. Anyway, let's carry on looking. Let's have a look at what Boomer's up to. He is down the back straight. So his lap so far is again not showing on the telemetry. Okay, maybe I just need to ignore the telemetry if it doesn't fix itself. But the lines he's taking do look pretty clean and definitely much better than what Jag King's managed. Oh, and it's a spin. Is he going to save it? Well, he's right outside the pit lane, so that's quite handy. Anyone else? Let's look at Saeed. It's his home Grand Prix, because he is an... what do you call someone from the Emirates? An Emirati? I don't know. I'm not quite sure, as he nearly invalidates there by going all 4 wheels off the track, but he must have lifted a little bit as he approaches the final corner. Doesn't make the same mistake as Boomer, and he crossed the line in P4, so slots just behind Yusuf. And there doesn't seem to be anyone else on a hot lap. What's Nightspace Dude up to? Ooh, you can tell he's not using traction control as his tyres are screeching all over the place. He's definitely trying to set a competitive time here. He's currently P8. 1.3 sec. No, he's gone into the pits. So he must have just been practicing. What's Seb up to? Bang average Seb scored his first decent points of the season last time out. So he'll be hoping for more of the same as he enters the breaking point for this new layout at this side of the track. He's quite gingerly taking that chicane. Didn't really attack it as hard as you can, but you do need to be careful because it's so easy to spin, and he uses 0 traction control. As this is the second new sweeping corner that's replaced a very tight chicane. Yeah, hits the apex really nicely there. Misses it slightly there, which meant that he couldn't get on the power as quickly as he'd have liked. And he misses the final apex, and he spins because he takes too much curb on the outside. Oh, that was going to be a fairly decent lap time as well. Let's join Grayson. As Samit, I think, is about to finish his lap as well, so keep an eye on him on the left. And he goes P3, just a 10th and a half ahead of his teammate Yusuf. We used to see in the Ferraris qualifying very highly as a regular occurrence, so 2 in the top 4 doesn't surprise me. bit wobbly on exit, but nothing too bad. Now this is a very important corner, and he misses the apex. Doesn't take that corner wide enough on the entry, which meant that he was all out of shape, and that's why you've basically seen him almost spin twice there. Is Boomer on another lap? It looks like he is. And just behind him, you can see from the mini-map is J-Ray Bay. Or Zav, I can't tell which one. But we'll stick with Boomer because he has a set representative time. And he might spin again, which would be entertaining for us. Is he going to be blocked by this Haas? Oh no, he goes right off the track. That's what you want to see. As it looks like Boomer's gone purple in that middle sector. Oh, wish my telemetry would tell me. Ooh, fairly decent exit there. He's managed... Now, this is where he spun on the last lap. He's managed... Well, you could tell he was being a bit more careful there. And that's where Seb span, and he's managed to avoid that as well. And he goes P7, half a second off J-Ray Bay, who we are going to join for the rest of his lap. So he's on the back straight, and Zab is about to cross the finish line. As Nova sets the fastest time, massive 6/10 up on what J-Ray Bay's previous best was. So J-Ray has a lot of time to make up there. Actually, everyone does, because that is a seriously impressive time compared to what we've seen so far. As Jag Kings pops up into P3 as well. Very decent time for Jag. He's always around the top 5. Ooh, lots of screeching from the car there. And he does improve, but he's still quarter of a second behind Nova's best time. So he'll really need to find some pace in this final run that he's going to have. Is Will the Game on a fast lap? No. Yusuf should be on a fast lap, but he does only have 40% ERS. Let's see if he crosses the finish line or he goes into the pits. Yep. So can he improve? He goes wide on the final corner, which means he has to be really careful on exit. And he goes P3, but still nowhere near what Nova's managed. And he might be in store for his second pole position of the season. Anyone else on a fast lap? Truco, let's join Truco. It says he set the fast middle sector, which I'm not sure he has. Considering Boomer, it said the same for Boomer, and he's only in P9 right now. So Truco is having a bit of a torrid season in Tier 3. He's had some highlights in terms of overtakes, and he could have had a podium in Spain, but the end results are pretty sad, to be honest. He does hit the apex, but it was a lot slower than what we've seen. But he does go into P9, so a top 10 start. He is 1.1 seconds off of what Nova managed, though. Is Chris T on a lap? Yeah, absolutely is on a lap. Well, now he's on a lap. So let's see what Chris can manage. He's managed to stay full throttle through that fast right-hander and just about kisses the apex there, gets a fairly decent exit. As Nova's retired in the pits, so he's saving his soft tires for the race, which is definitely tactical. He's obviously quite happy with his lap and doesn't think he can improve further. Ooh, interesting application of the throttle there in the middle of that corner. It meant that he had a pretty slow reaction time to get on the throttle for the straight, which will have cost him maybe 1 or 2 tenths. He's taken this corner fairly beautifully. Yeah, that is how you need to take that corner. Now this vital apex to hit. Now you need to get to the right now, which he didn't get right enough, which means it was throwing his car on the exit there, but he managed to keep it within the limits. So he goes all the way down to third, to get as much cornering as possible so that you don't take the curves. And that means he goes P4, so he's out of sync with the rest of the drivers, and that's probably his last attempt, as 2 of the top 4 have basically had the last attempts now because Nova's retired, and everyone else is still in the pits apart from Grayson and Seb, who is just starting. Oh, he's set his time, which was 1:37, not representative. He's got full ERS, so he'll be setting his first flying lap now. But let's join Grayson because he's just coming around with only 6% of his battery left. This must be his second fast lap, and he only goes 13th. So let's join Seb again to see how he can do while everyone else is either in the pits or they're starting out laps. Very careful with his placement of the car through that chicane. So he goes a gear lower than what Chris T did around this corner. Chris had a perfect corner there, and Seb definitely didn't use the full width of the track to his advantage and didn't carry as much speed through there. Now, Seb doesn't go to the right enough either, and again it throws his car out, and that is why he invalidated. It's a simple mistake and they're all making it, unfortunately. Let's join Jag Kings. He is on a fast lap now. So is Jag gonna... So he misses the apex there. He does go further to the right, but takes a very wide line. He's not going to improve here. And he doesn't have ERS on either, so this next lap will be his final lap. What's Zab doing? Zab was the other one who was on a fast lap, as he's just going down to the first of our mammoth straights in Abu Dhabi. Very decent exit there. You can tell he's using traction control because he went full throttle in second gear, which you cannot do with no traction control. As he's 2.5, quarter of a second up on his best time so far. So that would only put him up into 11th as it stands. And hopefully this Ferrari doesn't get in his way too much. He's still in front of him, which must be frustrating. Oh, I didn't like that. I think that was Yusuf as well on his outlap. As he misses the apex for the final corner. And does he improve? Yeah, he does get in front of Nice Face Dude, which was probably all he could have managed, even without being blocked there a little bit by Yusuf. It was actually Samet, beg your pardon. But yeah, let's join J Rebe, because he has 1.5 tenths to find. And if you just saw in the top right, he is over 3 tenths up on his best lap. So what he needs to do now, 3 tenths up already. No, he's 0.097 up on his best lap at the moment. I don't know why it said 3 tenths. So he needs to find another 10th, basically, in this in these second 2 sectors if he wants pole position. As Jag Kings has popped up in a second in all of that. Very, very, very impressive time from Jag Kings. Missed out, yeah, by 1.5 there. No, yeah, 1.5. Now J Rebe is 0.16 up on his best time, which means he needs to still find another 10th because Nova's a quarter of a second ahead of him. At the moment he's good for second, as qualifying is over, so when people cross the finish line, that's it. So qualifying's over for Boomer, Nice Face Dude and Seb. Samet pops himself into P5, and what can J Ray do at the end here? Oh, he's span a little bit on the exit, and yeah, he only goes P2. So can Yusuf beat Nova's time? I think Yusuf is the only man left who has a chance, to be honest. Everyone else is who's still on a hot lap, is way too far down in terms of their pace. Oh, he takes that ultimate corner beautifully. And he comes out of that corner in 5th gear. And he gets P3. Not used to Yusuf being P3. He's usually higher, which knocks Jag Kings down to P4. I think Saeed might be the only person left on a lap. No, he isn't. So this is it. And Nova is your pole position sitter for Abu Dhabi. So good that after his 2nd run, he decided to retire in the pits and nobody could beat him, which is mightily impressive, I got to say. Now, the pressure's going to be on as we head into the race and see if he can fend off what is probably going to be a DRS train for much of the race. We've got J-Ray Bay in P2. So P2 in the championship, P2 on the grid. And Yusuf, who has that 29-point lead in the championship, is P3. So they might have some good battles in this race to come. Very impressed with Nova there. Further down, let's see. Any other people that have really stuck out as being impressive? So the top 4 separated by 0.167, and then half a second behind is at least as everyone else. So the field spread is quite large. Only the top 7 are separated by a second, and then everyone else is way behind. Boomer, quite surprised to be as low down as 10th and 1.1 seconds off the pace, but he does come alive in the races a lot more than in qualifying. Slimmy never even set a time. Naked Champ and Seb didn't set representative times either, so it'll be interesting to see what they can do in the race. So just bear with me. I'm going to try and see if I can sort out this telemetry, because it is working and set up, but no notifications were sent. And it says the order of the drivers, but it doesn't give lap times. It gives you the fuel mix that they're using, which isn't very helpful. But yeah, it doesn't tell you how fast they're going. It does refresh for the race, though. So maybe that'll fix it. So let's have a look. So you're using broadcast mode. So everyone's on medium tires, except for Jag Kings, who is on hards in P4. Truco is on hards in P9. Boomer's on hards in P10. So they are hoping that they can extend, and maybe a good time safety car after everyone else is pitted will catapult them to the front of the grid. Nice Face Dude is having the opposite tactic, so he's going for the softs to probably, well, he'll definitely leapfrog a lot of people at the start of the race with those softs, if all goes well. And then if an early safety car comes out, that would help him, because surely the medium runners would pit at the same time. But let's look at position changes to begin with anyway. We want telemetry on, we want the lap data on, and we want the full track. Sweet. So Abu Dhabi is always a much more interesting race to watch in esports than it is in real life. And I think that's to do with the power of the DRS on the game. It's just obviously a lot stronger on the game than it is in real life, but also equal cars as opposed to just a couple of cars at the front just driving away from everyone helps bunch the pack together and create exciting racing as well. Because when the Formula 2 races here, it's pretty much always very exciting. As the front six are really far ahead of the rest of the field at the moment, so they'll be having a bit of a wait whilst the rest of the field catch up to them. So, predictions for the race. I'm going to put my faith in Nova. I think he'll... If he can... Well, he's got fresher softs as Samet gets disqualified and Christie gets disqualified for missing their pit boxes. I mean, he just had so much pace in qualifying. He didn't need all of that. Anyway, the lights are on and they are about to go out in the streets of Abu Dhabi. Not the streets. And we're off. Are we? What's going on? Well, now we're off. And it's a pretty bad start for Saeed as J-Ray already gets into the lead of the race. He gets the inside of this corner as Nova goes incredibly wide. And he rejoins just ahead of Yusuf and keeps that position. But they are going to battle all the way down into this new layout and this new left-hander, which will take them onto the back straight as Yusuf has the inside line and he takes it. Nova slots in behind him and Samet is up to P4. So disastrous starts for Saeed and Nice Face Dude who was on the softs as Nova tries to have a look on the outside of Yusuf as Samet tries a little dive bomb, backs out of it and no harm done. As we go out onto this second back straight, and Samet will definitely have a look down the inside of Nova as we approach this. Is he going to get a move done? No, he hasn't. He's not using his ERS. He's saving it. As further down, Boomer and Grayson are battling. And they're going to go side by side again. No, Grayson looks like he's given up the fight there. And what's happening here? With it, two Red Bulls battling. Saeed's looking to make up some ground after that disastrous start off the line. As they come together and they spin. 3 cars of span. As Seb also got involved there in other people's accidents. That's really unfortunate. But let's rejoin the front as those drivers will no doubt be coming into the pits if they've got damage. As Slimmy and Nice Face Dude are also in the pits. So there's a half-second lead that J-Ray has over Yusuf, and he's going to want to hope, basically, that Nova has another sniff down the inside of Yusuf and gives him a bit of breathing space, because he needs other drivers in between him and Yusuf when the race finishes to close that gap in the championship. But it doesn't look like anyone's having a real sniff down here at this stage. Nova's 0.3 back. As Grayson's made the best start again. Grayson always has good opening laps of these races. He's up 4 places and he's back in the top 10. Nova's having a look all over the place, but he's got 35% ERS left already, which isn't too much less than Yusuf, but when the DRS starts to open, I think we're going to start seeing a lot more moves and ballsier moves as well. As Samet really needs to find a little bit of pace to keep up with these top 3. He's almost a second behind already, and Will's a second behind him as Truco has retired. There you go. And already we have a safety car, which is great news for these guys at the back. Pretty good news for Samet as well, who was about to start losing heaps of time to the top 3 because he was outside of DRS range. So it's probably too early for the medium runners to pit at this point. I don't think we should expect to see many pit stops. Just bear with me. Yep, there's already a DNF, and it's Truco, unfortunately, whose terrible season is continuing. I think he might end up getting a demotion from Tier 3 for next season, to be honest. His pace doesn't seem to be there, and he just makes too many mistakes in the race as well. Or if it's not mistakes, it's just really bad luck. Nice Face Dude's having a pretty torrid time as well. He's got a drive-through penalty. Let's change this from positions gained to tyres again. So Slimmy's pitted for the softs, which is quite interesting. Let's see if it'll serve him better than it served Nice Face Dude on that first lap, who couldn't take advantage of his fresh softs and got himself into a bit of an accident. Let's have a look at the penalties, actually. So there's drive-throughs, actually, for two of them. Naked Champ and Nice Face Dude. So they'll be praying for another safety car pretty soon so that they can get back into the mix. But it is on reduced, and this is quite a wide track, and the place where Truco retired is pretty much the only place that you'd expect to see a safety car come out for these guys. Softs already, they won't last long. Yeah, it's a gamble, isn't it? I think he's wanting to make a bit of progress and then hope that another safety car comes out again before too long. I wonder how long this safety car is going to stay out for, because... Oh, it wasn't a safety car, it was a virtual safety car. I wish I'd known that. So we're back under normal racing. Oh, dear. Okay, we're back under normal racing, and the top four are all within a second of each other, which means that they're all going to get DRS, but Samet is flirting with the outside of that. Stop laughing at me, Reaper. Right. But J-Ray still has a pretty good lead, a 7/10 lead over Yusuf at the moment, as we've got a yellow flag. I think that's for bang average, Seb. Yes, it is. So he's not having the best of times again today, unfortunately. After his decent result in Monza, it looks like normal service is resumed. Yusuf is still clinging on to being within a second of J-Ray, which is pretty bad news for Jay, because he wants to basically break that second and build up a gap, and with Yusuf not getting DRS, start getting attacked from Nova behind him. That would be what I'd be trying to do, but he's really doing well at preserving his ERS here, which Yusuf isn't so much, so maybe he will start to see a bit of an advantage soon. Any other battles? The only guys who are close, really, is this top four battle, actually. Everyone else is spaced, well, top three now, because Samet keeps dropping back. Everyone else is really nicely spaced out, but Nova is really having oh, he had a little look there. He's really, really close to the back of Yusuf's gearbox, and Yusuf is now... Oh, what's happened? Nova's lost it. Nova's lost it, and he's spun, and he's hitting the wall again. And that gives Yusuf a lot of breathing space. I don't know what happened there because of that camera angle, which is a massive shame, as Grayson is going to try and overtake Nova as well. Let's have a quick look and see if there's any damage on Nova's car. The telemetry is saying no, but I don't believe it, because it also says everyone has 0% tire wear. But in all of that, J-Ray has managed to get a second gap ahead of Yusuf, which is quite important. And as I say that, Yusuf, he's obviously made a mistake around those final couple of corners, and Yusuf gets within a second as well. So what's happening with Nova now? He's off track again. He still hasn't even made it to the pits yet, if that's what he's going to do. It doesn't look like he's got wing damage, and he's span again. He's just overcooked his tires, probably. And he needs to get himself into those pits. So I said he was going to win. I was wrong. Yeah, he's in the pits. And he's retired! Why did you do that? There's probably going to be another safety car. I hate it when that happens. Anyway, let's rejoin the battle at the front, which is the only battle within 1 second of each other, so... They are really close to being inside and outside of DRS range. But at the moment, Yusuf didn't have DRS for that long straight, which helped J-Ray get a bit more of an advantage. As it looks like Slimmy this time has span, and he's gone into the pits again on his 3-lap old softs. And Naked Champ's also span there, as you see him going really slowly. Anyway, let's rejoin the front instead of trying to find all these spinning drivers. So Yusuf and J-Ray Bay now have almost a 2-second lead ahead of Samet, who looks like a comfortable third at the moment. J-Ray just can't... I don't know if he's just can't break the second gap or if he's just not trying very hard, because look how much ERS he still has. But every time he's within DRS range, he's going to have to use a bit more of the ERS to keep a comfortable distance ahead of Yusuf. Lap 6, go on to hards and see how far they'll go for another safety car. It's a decent tactic. I'm not confident there'll be another safety car, though, to be honest with you. Everyone's really spaced out at the moment, so there'd have to be an unforced error in the tight hotel section for there to be another safety car. So I hope these guys haven't underfueled their cars, to be honest with you. Yeah, Yusuf's just happy chilling behind Jay at the moment. So we're going to leave this battle temporarily, because if we have a look at Grayson, he's got a little queue forming behind him. He's got Zab and Jag Kings not too far behind. Jag's decided to pit early on for the hards, as we've got... Oh, never mind. He went into the wall and can continue, but he's dropped down a 10th and he's probably going to have to pit for a new wing. Gosh, there's lots of errors being made by all the drivers so far today. Apart from maybe the top 8, I think, have got away relatively unscathed so far, and everyone else has either had terrible starts or some sort of collision somewhere down the line. Interesting variation of that line these two drivers have. So J-Ray took a much wider line around that big sweeping left-hander, and Yusuf hugged the apex a lot more. I think it's probably one of those corners you could take multiple lines, to be fair. But I think J-Ray, using all of the track available, is probably why he's got the edge on Yusuf at the moment. As Slimmy sets the fastest lap on those new hard tyres. It's quite interesting. I think he's a lap down. You can see him behind the Ferrari of Samet, so maybe he's just using his ERS. Let's have a quick look. Is that the case? Yes, it is. It's always difficult in F1 22 when... There he is, Seb spinning again. He's going to find himself lapped pretty shortly as well. But yeah, let's join these two. So he does get ERS here. He's not using any of his ERS to try and catch up to Jay, though. He is quite far behind. What's Zab up to? He's pretty close to Grayson here. He was within a second, then he fell about a second and a half behind, and he's caught back up again. It looks like he doesn't get the exit of that corner as well as Grayson, but he is catching up again because of his DRS being open. But Yusuf is really close now to J-Ray Bay. So I don't know if J-Ray had a bit of a dodgy couple of corners, because Yusuf's not been this close the whole race, to be honest. Now he's within 4/10, 5/10. As Slimmy is unlapping himself behind. You can see he's ahead of Samet now. This will be the period of the race where the mediums start to go off, and we might see the hard runners. So have a look at Boomer's time to Chris T. 4.7 behind now. I can imagine him closing the gap fairly soon and starting to see more of an advantage. But what he'll be hoping for, really, is these medium runners to pit and then a safety car to come out. That would work perfectly. And it's going to be a question of, will these medium runners try to extend just in case that happens? Or will they try and pit and get the undercut? Both options can backfire and both options can work. It just depends on how many mistakes the other drivers make. As there is a yellow flag. I'm not sure who that's for because no one's lost a position. But Boomer is all of a sudden right behind Chris T. So it must have been Chris T making that error. He's lost 4 seconds there because we were just talking about that gap to them both. So let's follow Boomer and let's see how good these harder tyres really are after 10 laps. As Slimmy's pretty close to unlapping himself from Yusuf and J-Ray as well. Very close. And then you can see Zab just behind is very close to Grayson as well. So yeah, it looks like Chris T is still kind of edging Boomer here. Is he using all of his ERS? Yeah, he's used all of his ERS as there is a Red Bull who had a mistake around the final corner, but he's still going. Yeah, Chris T's used all of his ERS. Boomer's going to take him on this second straight if he wisens up to it and uses even a tiny bit of his ERS. You can see the light flashing. That should give him the go-ahead to rinse his ERS here. He's within 6/10 now. No, he's not going to try it, which I think is a big mistake, because he's going to start losing time behind Chris T, who's got no charge at all. But he'll get him next lap. Let's see what Yusuf's doing, because he's really close again to J-Ray. No drivers have got penalties yet, which is pretty impressive. There are some warnings. Naked Champ's on 2 warnings, but no one else has more than 1 apart from that. As Will the Game is the first of the medium runners to make a tactical pit stop after 11 laps. So he's definitely going for the undercut, as is Zab, who was getting held behind Grayson there, so I don't blame him. Yusuf still isn't really close enough to get the move done here, as Slimmy is within DRS range of both of them now, but a lap down. Let's see what Boomer can do. Does he get ERS here? He doesn't get DRS, but like I said, Christie's got absolutely no charge left. Boomer's going to close up here. Well, he should be closing up. He should be using his ERS, because if he doesn't get past him again this lap, and Chris T stays out again, he's just holding him up. No, he's not going to make a move again. I guess he's saving his ERS for a push lap after these guys pit to try and build a gap before he has to make his own pit stop later on in the race. So, Yusuf and J-Ray have stayed out again, and Samet has pit this lap, so obviously they're working as a team, and I would guess that they discussed and Samet would pit this lap and Yusuf will pit the next lap. I would have, if I was Yusuf, pit this lap, however, because if you can do the opposite of what the guy in front of you does, then it only serves to help you, as Slimmy is unlapping himself now. He's got great pace, actually. As Yusuf is making the move. And he gets it done. And Slimmy is kind of interfering a little bit, which I think these drivers won't be too happy about. J-Ray Bay is very close behind. He can use the DRS this time. And now Slimmy's going to obstruct Yusuf a little bit there. But he is faster than them. No. He needs to stay on track, though. So, this is going to be vital. Let's see who, if either of them, make a stop here. If I was J-Ray, I'd just do the opposite of what Yusuf's doing. Nope, they both head into the pits. and they won't have to worry about Slimmy anymore, who is now on the lead lap again. So if the safety car comes out now, happy days for him because he can actually get into the fight for some points. Grayson and Saeed are fighting. And Zab is right behind them as well, as Saeed takes evasive action there. And as a result, Zab is sweeping around the outside. What? That is an amazing move by Zab. I've never seen anyone overtake around the outside of that corner before. Fantastic racing. That is the overtake of the day already, I'm calling it. We're not going to see something better than that today. Fantastic move from Zab on Saeed. Really taking advantage, poaching Saeed's mistake, basically, there. And now Zab's going to have a chance to attack Grayson here. So let's have a follow of that. As Yusuf actually came out of the pits 2.5 seconds ahead of J-Ray. So I don't know what's happened there. But it looks like the battle for the lead might be over for now. Well, the question is, will Zab be able to make a move on Grayson here? He's within 3/10. No, he's going to back out of it and try something around this second long straight. If he can get a good exit here, which I saw him make a really good exit when we were watching him in qualifying. He gets a bad exit, and now he has to defend from Saeed. He isn't defending really hard. He's not using any ERS. But he is taking the long way around. He can't get it done. And Saeed gets the place. And is Zab going to have a look? No, Saeed closes the door. And now Saeed is going to have a go at Grayson next time around. Let's see what's happening with Will and Samet. Very close together. So Will was about 2 seconds behind Samet for the whole of the first stint. So he's really done well by pitting a lap earlier than Samet did and getting the undercut. A mini undercut, I'd say, because he never gained a position, as he's trying desperately to get within that 1 second and using his last bit of his ERS. He's going to be a bit snookered here, though, because Samet has way more ERS and Will has nothing. And he's probably not going to have much ERS for the rest of the race if we don't get a safety car. And he didn't get DRS either, which is a bit of a nightmare. So, does he get DRS here? He does. That's a saving grace for him there, but he's not going to make a challenge. So let's have a look at these three. So, first straight, nothing happened, but Saeed's got a much better exit of that chicane than Grayson did, and he's going to be attacking all the way down this back straight, surely. He's got no ERS, though, and Grayson has plenty, so even though he's not using it, he's going to benefit from that boost, because Saeed will basically be switched off at this point whilst it tries to harvest energy, and Zab's just chilling behind them at the moment, letting them battle. As J-Ray does set the fastest lap, he's trying really hard to catch back to that time that he lost from Yusuf. Who isn't winning. It's still Boomer who's in first, and he's just hoping and praying for a safety car at this point, because he's going to drop right back and have to overtake many cars, which is going to be entertaining for us. But obviously that's the difficult way of doing things, and he'd much rather be able to pit and have an advantage. And probably at the same time, everyone else would want to pit as well if the safety car came out soon. Jack King's in the very similar position in P4 to Boomer. As Grayson's actually setting much faster times than he has been so far today. We've got a yellow flag for the Mercedes again of Slimmy, who re-enters last position. So Grayson is keeping his advantage over Saeed, who definitely has no energy left. Yeah, and Zab's just happy to be consistently between half a second and a second behind this battle. Maybe he's just going to wait and see what these two decide to do in terms of battling, and then take advantage of any mistakes that get made. But let's join Yusuf, because he's very, very close to Boomer, and as a result, very close to retaking the lead. If Boomer can hold up Yusuf enough, J-Ray comes back into DRS range, and we have a battle for the lead all over again. Boomer has pretty decent ERS here, as Yusuf looks like he's going to make a move down the inside. Boomer leaves the door open. Bad news for Boomer, because Yusuf's going to have ERS as well, and just drive away from him, basically. Boomer might have a chance on this second straight. Well, not really. His tires are pretty much done now. But at least he's going to get ERS to DRS. I keep getting them mixed up. To keep up with Yusuf. What's happening with Saeed? As they're about to go on the back straight again. Is he going to make a move on Grayson this time? He's trying. You can tell he's trying really hard to get a move done, as Zab has dropped more than a second behind. He's trying to go around the outside here, which is possible. He left a lot of room for Grayson, and now he's got the inside line for the next corner, but it looks like he's backed out of it there. He didn't fancy going side by side, which is a shame, because he definitely had the advantage there if he'd have been brave enough to stick it out, as we've got Slimmy spinning again. And now we've got Jag and Boomer in the pits. So Yusuf retakes the lead. He's got a 2-second lead over J-Ray Bay. We've got Slimmy's having trouble again. J-Ray Bay set the fastest first sector. We've got, I think it's Nice Face Dude, who's... Yeah, no, it's not him. It's the other one. Will made a big mistake there. If you remember, he was right up with Samet, and now he's 9 seconds behind him, which means that Chris T might be able to get P4 here. Let's follow them down these back straights. So Will's already defending the inside really early on down this straight, and Chris T's already got the move done before the braking zone. So I wonder if Will... Yeah, he doesn't have a wing, that's why. So he was having a very strong race. He had a chance of a podium there. And now he's going to have to pit a second time. He's used his medium tyres. So he's really messed up in terms of strategy, because they're going to make him remove his hard tyres and put on probably softs, which means he's going to have to stop twice. So his chances of points at this moment in time are pretty much done, as Boomer's already caught up to him. Boomer, who was leading and is on his outlap. Oof, that could have ended badly. Boomer tried a very ambitious move to overtake him before that final corner so that he didn't lose any time. So let's see what they end up putting Will on. He can't go back onto the mediums. He's already used them. Softs, will they last 10 laps? Probably, maybe. He is on the softs. He's got the red tyres there. He might actually come out in the points still. Well, he's got an opportunity to get a point for 10th and a point for fastest lap, and then mopping up anyone else's mistakes. And now he's back. He's down in 11th, actually. So let's have a look at Saeed and Grayson. They're still battling, as Saeed gets a much better exit there. Neither of them have any ERS left. Saeed is within 3/10 with DRS open. He's going to go down the outside again, because Grayson is defending the inside, which has worked for him so far. Saeed has stuck it out, and he is ahead, which is very impressive. And he gets the move done before this braking zone, so there's no backing out this time. So P6 is now Saeed's. And just as I said that, he gets a 3-second penalty because he went too wide at that corner. And as a result, well, he's basically down in 9th as it stands with the 3-second penalty. Well, 8th. Could be 9th if Jag... Well, Jag will close in because he's on mediums. Boomer has closed right up to Chris T. He's within a second and on much better tyres at this point. So he wants to make quick work of Chris T here as they head into the first back straight. Fastest lap still belongs to J. Ray Bay at this point. So Boomer's not really... He's just used the first straight to close up, which is a very clever tactic, as Grayson's really close to Saeed behind them as well. And now we're going to see quite an easy overtake, I'd imagine. So these are the two that finished first and second in Monza, and they're battling for fourth and fifth right now. Boomer gets the move done quite easily, and behind them, not so easy, but Grayson does get the move done around the inside as well. Saeed has no answer for it. Neither of them have BRS. Gonna have a little sniff, but nothing. Yeah, he can't do anything about that, and it's probably gonna be like this for the rest of the race, these two battling with each other like this. But they're gonna have Zab and Jag Kings for company now as well. Meanwhile, Boomer has 9.5 seconds to try and find a spot on the podium. He could do it, to be fair. He's got much better tyres at the moment, and no traffic at all. But let's stick with this battle, because a four-way fight is the best that we've had all race, to be honest. That's what I get for saying that we always get good races in these spots around this track. Well, the game has set the fastest lap, and he is on those soft tyres that he had to pit for, so not a surprise at all. Everyone's very close together. You can see Jag King's making a move on Zab around the outside there. Saeed isn't making a move. And Jag Kings does get the move done on Zab on his faster tyres. He holds it around the outside of the exit of the chicane, and he's a bit too far behind to have a go at Saeed, who is having a look on the inside of Grayson. It's really important that one of these drivers gets ahead at this corner specifically, because the other one is almost guaranteed to come under heavy pressure from Jag Kings on the next lap. Oh, Grayson takes a really... well, he just makes a massive mistake there and loses that spot to Jag Kings. So everything's kind of falling into Jag King's lap here. These guys have been fighting all race, and Jag Kings hasn't lost much time trying to get past them so far. As Boomer's only 8 seconds behind Samet now. Saeed's gone very wide on the first corner as well, which will lose a bit more time. Jag's just over a second behind Saeed here, so he might not even get DRS. Does he get it? No. He definitely will next time, though. Saeed has no charge at all, as it looks like Zab is having a look at Grayson behind them, but no, he's not going to get a move done this time around. Hello, Aman. Right, let's see. Is he going to get a move done here, Jag Kings? Saeed leaves the door open again on the inside. He could have fought if he'd tried to cover off the inside a bit there. Yeah, Jag Kings does get the move done, and expect him to drive away from Saeed pretty comfortably now. But fortunately for Saeed, he's got now a 2.5 second lead ahead of Grayson because of Grayson's mistake. So Grayson's going to be occupied fighting Zab for the rest of the race, I think. And Saeed might have 7th. Well, he might be able to get that 3 seconds to keep 7th. Meanwhile, the gap for the lead has stayed quite a consistent 1.8, 1.9 seconds ever since the pit stops and since Boomer pit. But Boomer's shaved another second off his gap with Samet, and now he's 7 seconds behind. So if he keeps this up, he'll definitely be at least right behind Samet at the end of the race. So Saeed's still within DRS range of Jag King, so he's done well here. Boomer is flying, yeah, I agree. It's just setting time trial times at the moment for Boomer, really. Just head down, focus on hitting every apex and closing the gap as quick as possible, and then once he's in DRS range, he should be happy days. So this is working out perfectly for Saeed. He's got a 3-second penalty, but he's managing to stay in the DRS of a car on much better tyres, who's also closed in on Chris T now. So it does seem like the guys who started on the hards, the way that the race has turned out with no safety car has really helped them. Well, not with no safety car, but with not one at the right time for the media runners, because it was right at the beginning. So let's follow Jag Kings for a little bit, because he's going to get a move on Chris T done soon. So another lap goes by, and another second Boomer has caught up to Samet by. So Jag King's probably just lining up and closing the gap on this first straight. Ooh, you could see how much later he's able to brake compared to Christy. Christy has no charge left either, but Jag Kings is opting not to use up all of his to get past him at this point. Which helps Saeed again, because he's now in a DRS drain. And Zab's managed to get past Grayson and all that. As Samet gets a 3-second time penalty, which means Boomer is now only 2.7 seconds away from Samet and a podium position. Another podium position for Boomer. Just a reminder that Yusuf, J-Rebe and Boomer are the top 3 in the championship, so if they finish on the podium, I don't know how many times it happens in ALR that the top 3 in the championship finish on the podium, but this would be one of those rare occasions. But there's still a long way to go in the race. Anything can and probably will happen. So Jag is a lot closer now. He's basically rear to nose behind Chris T, and he's going to get the move down on the first straight, which we haven't seen many moves on the first straight done so far tonight. He's going to leave himself a little bit vulnerable on the second straight for another attack, as Saeed is very close behind him as well. Yeah, Christy just doesn't have any charge left to even try and get a move done on Jag Kings. So expect Jag Kings to break away from these two fairly quickly, I'd say. Saeed might be able to get Christy on track here as well. Look how close behind he is. It's like crowding Christy there at the on the approach to turn 1. Yeah, Chris is now over a second behind, so Saeed should be able to get him on this first straight. Yeah, it's going to be easy. As he tries to go down round the outside, Yusuf gets a 3-second penalty. So J-Rebe, at the moment, is your leader of the race, and the Ferraris are going to lose potentially a 1-3 finish and finish 2nd and 4th because of penalties. So, as we saw Saeed overtake Chris there and defend position on the second straight, let's join the front battle, because Yusuf is going to basically have to try and set time trial times for these last 3 laps to get 3 seconds on J-Rebe. J-Ray only has 1 warning. He's not going to get a penalty. Yusuf has to do the laps of his life, basically, if he wants to keep the win. He's got 1.6 as the gap, and he's got 29% ERS. J-Ray has 60% ERS. So he's not letting... He'd have to make a mistake, basically, at this point to... and yeah, Yusuf just used half his remaining ERS on that corner. Yeah, J-Ray just needs to keep using his ERS tactically. Make sure there's nothing left in the tank at the end of the last lap. And he's got the race win. And that's 7 points. Actually, 8. Oh, no. Will's got the fastest lap. 7 points he's going to cut into Yusuf's championship lead. And that would reduce the championship lead down to 22 points, which is less than a race win, as opposed to Yusuf increasing it by 7 points, which is what would happen if it stayed as 1-2 as it is, with no penalties. That would have actually increased the championship lead for Yusuf to 36 points. So 36 points to 22 points is the difference that 3-second time penalty has given Yusuf. And that's why it's so important to stay within track limits. That could change the whole outcome of the championship, to be honest. Boomer's now within 4.2 seconds of Samet. Oh no, he's making a mistake, isn't he? He's gone down to 5.4 just as I said that. Slimmy's in the pits once again. He's probably going to go fastest lap. Yeah, he's 5.8 behind now. So Boomer might have just ruined his chances of getting a podium there, because his medium tyres will be screaming right now. And he was... Well, he's lost 1.5 seconds in the space of 30 seconds to Samet. I'm not quite sure why. But let's join this battle for the lead. And let's join Yusuf, because he's still got to find 1.5 seconds to win this race. He's got no ERS left. J-Ray still has 38%. So he's using it very, very carefully. And he's just keeping solidly between 1 and 2 seconds. Which is exactly what he needs to do to win this race. Oh, I'd love to know what Yusuf was thinking when that 3-second time penalty flashed up on his screen. He's been driving so well this race. He managed to build up a gap in the pit stops that J-Ray hadn't been able to close in on at all. As Bang Average Seb gets a penalty, that won't change anything for him. So we're on the final lap. Yusuf needs to find 1.2 seconds. But what you'll see in these next 2 straights that we're approaching is J-Ray use all of that 50% ERS that he's got. Close nice and tight into Yusuf. And just sail home for the victory. That's what I would expect anyway. Yeah, see, from 2 seconds... Well, he's still got 30%. You can use more. You can use more, you're on the last lap. 35%. Is he going to use it all the way down the straight? Is he going to use it at all? Yeah, now he's all the way down to below 20. Very comfortable for J-Ray. He just needs to be careful in these last couple of corners that he doesn't make a mistake. A lot of people have lost it in this little section that he's entering right now, including Truco, who brought out the VSC earlier in the race. But no, he's within 1.6 seconds still. He just has 2 corners that he has to make it round. And he's going to do it. Your winner for Abu Dhabi is J-Ray Bay. He reduces the gap in the championship to 22 points from Yusuf, who will be cursing himself so much for getting that 3-second penalty. He finishes 1.3 seconds behind. And then we've got Samet, who is going to finish 3rd. Boomer is going to finish 2.7 seconds behind him in the end, because he made a bit of a mistake on the penultimate lap, and he finishes 4th. Jag Kings is going to cross the line in 5th, and Saeed a solid 6th place. Oh no, he loses it to Chris T in the end because of that 3-second penalty as well. Zab, a solid 8th place after quite a long battle with Grayson and Saeed. Grayson 9th. Will the Game, who was looking good for... Well, he probably would have got the podium if he'd have stayed behind Samet with his 3-second penalty. He's going to finish 10th on these soft tyres, which must be hurting a lot right now. He's lost 5 seconds to Grayson in the last lap or 2. 6 seconds, I should say. So he gets the last point. Naked champ in 11th. We've got Seb and Slimmy already lapped and finished the races, so Mercedes not having the best of times here. Nova and Truco already retired quite early on. Nova was, of course, your pole position sitter. And Nice Face Dude is going to round off the finishing positions. Oh. Well, I must say it wasn't the best race to watch, but the ending was very exciting thanks to Yusuf's 3-second penalty. So, thanks Yusuf, you've you made things a bit more interesting for me anyway. Great result for J. Raybay. So, how many wins has he got? Let's have a quick look. I don't think he's got that many. This will be his second win. So he's new to this. He's new to ALR this season. That's his second win, but he's also finished second 3 times and third once, and that's why he's so close to Yusuf, despite Yusuf getting 3 wins of his own. So yeah, we've got quite an exciting final 3 races of the season to come. It's quite Lewis versus Max. You know, they're always at the front. There doesn't seem to be anyone else that can come close to their pace. But yeah, that was quite a close finish. Look at that, 18 seconds ahead of anyone else on the grid. And that just goes to show that they're in a class of their own. You know, we've had lots of safety cars this season. We didn't really get any here. So it's all been about pace mainly. And you can just see who's got the pace, basically, and who's made the mistakes. Boomer and Jag Kings maybe could have finished a little bit higher, maybe ahead of Samet if they were on the same strategy. I don't know. Maybe they just gave themselves a bit too much to do. But anyway, that was quite good. That's it from me. We'll see you next week when we are going to be at Singapore. Expect a lot more safety cars then. So thanks guys. See you next time.